Listen to the vibes.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Vibes, and I'm very excited to welcome the band Brass Camel. They have a sophomore album out called Camel, and I can't get enough of it. Sometimes I get excited when a group comes on, but I have to say I was really excited to have these guys on because this music is phenomenal. We're going to get to know them and talk a little bit about the album, so I guess we'll start with Daniel. Tell us a little bit more about you.
Well, my name is Daniel. I'm from Vancouver, BC, and I play in this music band here called Brass Camel.
I'm Aubrey. I'm also from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. I also play in a music band called Brass Camel.
It's not the same band, mate.
Yeah.
My name is Curtis. I'm from Surrey, British Columbia, in Canada, and I have a very large flame point Siamese named Lionel. And there is a song on our new album about it that you should listen to right after this interview.
What I was reading kind of described as prog-funk. And you've got the sound of maybe a little bit of Rush, maybe a little bit of Triumph, some Styx, maybe a little bit of Steve Vai era Zappa. I mean, how would you describe it?
We're a mixed bag, man. We just like playing the music that we like to play, and that can mean a lot of different things, and that's what makes this band so much fun to play in. Is sometimes it's heavy, sometimes it's funky, sometimes it's proggy, sometimes there's a 4 on the floor straight beat, not a fill in sight, and other times it's just all the way down, and that's what keeps it fun.
I think when the classics are close to your heart, as they are for us, I think when you're doing dad rock, you don't want to be too derivative, so if it's hard to put in a box, you're probably doing something right.
And how long have you guys been together?
The project's been around for just over 5 years, and what I would consider to be the band has been around since the end of 2022. We've been a 5-piece since January 23, and we went from 2021 we played 3 shows. 2022 we played 3 or 4 shows. 23, once we got the full band kind of locked and loaded, we did maybe 45 and close to double that the next year. So it's been two years of a functional unit.
Well, I would have sworn you guys have been together for 50 years, as tight as the music is, and this, like I say, the sound I can't get enough of. And prog is like my favorite genre of music.
Oh, seeing the shirt there, I figured you would be more of a Bieber guy.
What inspires the music?
All kinds of things.
A riff that's fun to play.
That
does not hurt.
You got a song about a Cold War bomber. You got a song about the Inquisition. It's a mixed bag. There's lots of different things that can sort of tick that box for you, that make you want to write something or make you want to play something, and all kinds of things, man.
I know you have a lot of inspirations. Who's your main inspiration?
Ooh. We've all got a wide variety of influences in this band. Can't escape the 70s, though.
Genesis, except for Dylan.
Yeah.
That's probably the common thread in this band, is we're all huge fans of kind of Gabriel era Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to a lot of Little Feat last couple of years, probably more Little Feat than anything else. Al Di Meola, Return to Forever, a lot of fusion stuff. Parliament, it's Billy Strings.
Billy, yep.
I can
I'm
hear.
probably the world's second biggest Rush fan behind Sebastian Bach.
I hear a little King Crimson in some of your music as well.
Ooh, we'll take it.
Big fan. Big fan.
I like it when people tell us what we sound like, and it wasn't always 100% what we were going for, but it's in the wheelhouse.
Well, that's what makes the music so great is you can't pinpoint a specific sound. You've got that funk, some soul, the singing, the soulful singing in there. Uh, but I can definitely hear the influences. I'm assuming y'all like Zappa as well.
Yup.
Yep.
Oh,
That
I
was
think I think the more songs we write together, the more that one's been a sneaky influence we weren't trying to have, but just the sense of humor. And we've all done the catalog. The It turned out that one was heavily in there all along through no premeditation of anyone.
as a matter of fact, it was unintentional.
there is a little bit of a sad tone, I guess you'd say, even though the music is very upbeat. Daniel, you lost a brother.
Yes, I did a couple years ago. Um, and that was what sort of informed the last song on the album, which I don't usually write about anything personal. And I was saying another interview this morning that I don't. It blows my mind watching a singer-songwriter that can get up on a stage with nothing but an acoustic guitar and spill their personal life. Like that kind of vulnerability scares the living hell out of me. But this was a song that I'd sort of started writing before they took their own life, and had my sibling as well as a really close friend that were just going through some deep depressive issues and knew they were suicidal, and tried to be there for them, but things don't always work out for the best. And thankfully my friend's in a better place, but my sibling did take their own life. And I guess part of that grieving process was just to write and try to make sense of things. That song was, I guess, unpacking some personal kind of grief or issues, and just trying to make sense of it all. Which was a new thing for me. I don't really write personal songs, but sometimes you just got to get it out.
So, who primarily writes the music, or is it all collaboration?
Danny writes primarily everything. And I try my best to put my little spice on it just so I can say that I helped.
It's the process. The more we play together is beginning to evolve. I've done the lion's share of the songwriting up to this point. Going into the studio for our third album soon. I think we've started to see a more kind of truly collaborative approach to some of the writing here, kind of from the ground up level. Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see how that develops. The reason why on the first album, Brass, I was credited as the writer. On this one, we credit it as written by Brass Camel, is because those ideas that, for the most part, I brought in. Well, when you have a real band together, which we do now, and we didn't at the time of recording that first album, you've got foils for each other, and all of a sudden you've got that chemistry in a room of, okay, here's the idea for the song, now let's flesh it out. And the process has definitely started evolving and morphing into its own thing here, and I think we're all pretty excited to see all very excited to see where this is going to go in the years to come.
And how did y'all come up with the name Brass Camel?
Excellent question.
I like to think it came up with a.
Name just happened.
It just happened.
I had a
And-
dream of gigantic marquee lights that said Brass Camel on them. And the next day we made that sign.
Something like that.
Well, and I was reading about the studio that you're in. Talk about the famous folks that have been through there.
Aerosmith, 80s, Metallica Black Album, Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet, and a couple others. Crazy, crazy.
AC/DC.
Oh yeah, crazy ghosts in that place.
I didn't know any of that, but that's awesome.
Yeah, it used to be called Little Mountain Sound. It's called Hipposonic now. It's run by a great fella named Rob and just an excellent kind of staff around. But that building's it's uh, it's seen its fair share. I mean, you look at the names that have rolled through there, and hookers and Jack Daniels and Blackjack, and before Brass Camel, there's some wild stuff too.
You had a pretty big name producer as well.
So Ben Kaplan mixed our first album,
Mhm.
and he mixed and engineered this one as well. And on this album, he's got a co-production credit because he's put a lot of time into this record. In the sort of classical sense of the word production, it was a self-produced album. We did all the creative work, all the arranging, all the sort of tone choices and shaping of what the album, sounded like on an analog level.
Mhm.
And we didn't have to touch a computer the whole time. Whereas with the first album, where Ben's just credited with the mixing, we did all the comping and editing and everything, and basically gave him the tracks and said, make them sound as good as they can. With this one, he was very involved in the process of the technical side of things, of taking those ideas and those tracks we recorded, and doing what kind of editing was necessary, or comping, or this or that, or just kind of making the most out of those tracks that he did such a good job engineering. And I mean, the guy really just poured himself into this project, where if one was to hear, well, that sounds a lot like engineering, his involvement in this project went far beyond just engineering and mixing. And you can see the timestamps where that guy was staying up all night, when he didn't have to be, to make this record sound as good as it could be. And certainly that co-production credit really really makes sense when you look at just how involved Ben was with this record, and how much of his kind of off the clock time he dedicated to making this work for us.
Shout out to Ben. Ben,
With the way music has changed over the years as far as becoming successful, because everything's streamed nowadays, are you finding it difficult to really make it, or is your fan base really there for you and making you that success?
Well, I mean, making it is a spectrum.
Right, right.
Yeah, we made an Uzbeki pilaf for the last couple nights in our hotel room, because that's one way to feed 6 adults for 2 square meals each for $12. So we're we're working on the any sort of financial benefit that might never come. But we've been in what feels like a pretty cool position the last couple of years, where as a band that, I mean, you can see, you look up the numbers online, they're very low. We don't exactly have a huge following online, but we've been able to tour Canada 3 times now, fourth time right now, which is over 100,000 kilometers between the tours last year and the year before, which is what, 60,000 miles on the road, playing mostly club shows, doing 150 to 300 seaters, and we haven't lost money on a tour yet. Not that we made anything, but I think anybody who's gone out there and done the indie band thing will tell you that's tough to do, and that's been because we've had some really dedicated people that have come out to see us 3 4 times on the other side of the country. And I've played in lots of other bands, the other guys have too, where I've never really felt that before. You go out as an indie band for the sake of getting out on the road and having some fun with your friends and touring, and 10 people show up to your show, and you come back and you've lost money, and you get jaded, and then you call it a day. And it's been pretty damn cool to do a cross country trip and show up in Montreal or Toronto and play to a couple hundred people that you don't know, that somehow know the words to the songs and want to buy your shirts and buy your records and keep those wheels turning and keep the finicky old 7.3 liter engine in our bus running, and
Yeah.
that's been energizing because at the end of the day, I think like most musicians, we can be our own biggest critics. But even if it's only 150 people, if you have people showing up at your shows and buying your shirts, then I guess it becomes a little easier to say, hey, maybe we don't suck. Maybe this is worth doing a fifth tour, and that's a good feeling. You need every little small victory you can get as an independent artist, and it's good for morale when people show up. So, hopefully one day those 150 people will turn into 300, and maybe from there 450, and maybe from there Red Rocks. So, we'll see. We're ready to put in the work, and hopefully we can just, and hopefully with the second album and a third one in the works here, and lots of energy drinks and Buckleys and all that stuff, we can get the word out and get more people out to the shows.
There's bands that have been around for decades and they make pennies on streaming.
Yeah.
And so I can imagine, newer bands, it's got to be difficult.
It is. Oh yeah. And sometimes when you're on the road as an independent, it's probably this way playing in bigger venues too, but every once in a while you can feel like, man, am I just a t-shirt salesman that happens to play guitar? Because that's what
Right.
pays the bills. But that is really what pays the bills on the road is having a successful merch table. And
Hey, man, there's also being a poster salesman. The posters happen to have a wax disc inside them.
Well,
for the new
y'all are,
LP,
Yep.
they're on the way.
yeah, you've got this coming out on vinyl, which I'm excited about. I'm definitely going to get one.
Cannot wait. We did the first album on vinyl, and this second album, I think if there's one thing that I'm personally very happy with the way it's kind of turned out is I think there's a nice balance between the modern sort of 21st century punch, which was a big thing that Ben brought to the table. Is he's got a great grasp on that sort of edge and punch that makes you not sound like you're walking right out of the 70s. But I also think on this album there's a lot of separation between the instruments, and and when I listen to music, it's usually on a hi-fi system or on headphones or something like that, where I want to hear that sort of the dynamic and that separation. And I really look forward to hearing this album on the record because I think that's where this material will shine as far as listening format goes. And what we found with that first album is that vinyls they're a hot ticket item. Those things are easy to sell at concerts because it's tactile, and there's I'd say 80% of people are buying it to listen to it, but there's people that'll buy it even without a record player because it's physical and you can look at the liner notes and you can pick up the album, and there's just something inherently cool about that. It's physical music. So yeah, definitely excited to have this second one on vinyl. I think it's going to sound great, and we're just doing the pre-orders now. It looks like they should be shipping in mid-July or something like that. And when you get it, I hope you listen. And when you listen, I hope you listen loud.
Do you guys have a website?
We do. We do have a website. It could probably stand to be updated because spend more time practicing guitar than web design. But it's www.brasscamel.ca, and we're on social media. Not terribly active on TikTok, but we got the Instagram. We're on Facebook, Spotify, YouTube. Like, share, subscribe,
Well,
and got a lot on the way.
I'm definitely going to put all those links in the description just to make it easier for folks to find you.
Check out our TikTok for Wyatt's butt, though.
Guys, thank you so much for coming on the show. This really means a lot.
Thank you.
Well, take care, and we'll hopefully see you in Texas sometime soon here.
I'll be looking for you. Also
Sounds
want to
great.
thank all you folks out there. If you are new to the channel, I hope you'll come back. Please hit that subscribe button. For my regulars, you guys are awesome because you make it possible for me to do this. Till the next one, everyone, please take care. Be kind to one another. God bless, saying peace.